Richard Cory. Whenever Richard Cory went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman, from sole to crown, clean-favored, and imperially slim. And he was always quietly arrayed, and he was always human when he talked, but still he fluttered pulses when he said good morning, and he glittered when he walked. And he was rich, yes, richer than a king, and admirably schooled in every grace. In fine, we thought that he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. So on we worked, and waited for the light, and went without the meat, and cursed the bread. And Richard Cory, one calm summer night, went home and put a bullet through his head. Edward Arlington Robinson, 1897. Richard Cory is about not only Richard Cory, but about the people who looked at and admired Richard Cory. They are the ones who wanted to be what they were not. Edward Arlington Robinson was writing at the end of the Gilded Age, or at least at the apex of it, perhaps in the 1890s. And I suspect that he saw the difference between the Richard Corys in his society and those who simply cursed the bread because it was molded or hard or stale. And so it's really about the difference between those who have and those who have not. But it's also about envy. It's also about, he is everything I wish I were. He is everything and has everything I wish I were and had. That is the point at which admiration slides into envy. When you think about it, there are people in your life, there are mentors, there are models, there are teachers, there are heroes that you emulate, that you admire, whose life you would like to be a model for your own, a pattern for you. That's natural, and I think it's something that is absolutely normal for human beings. We copy each other. And yet there's something dangerous about it because we never know exactly what it is that we're copying. The first thing that's dangerous about it is we just don't know what's going on with the people whom we envy, who we admire. It seems that they have all their act together, that they are as cool as the center seat of a cucumber, that nothing ruffles or rattles them. We know better. In fact, the tabloids tell us better. But still, we imagine that they are somehow immune to some of the things that we are not. And so Richard Cory we'd know nothing about except what this observer tells us. But one thing is a reasonable deduction, and that is that anyone who goes home on a calm summer night and puts a bullet through his head is a hurting cowboy. He is, or she is, someone who has a great deal of pain. That's to put it mildly. Sometimes the pain is a clinical depression. Sometimes it's a situational trap out of which they can't break. Sometimes it's just that castle that they live in, or that plethora of capitalistic prizes that they've won, is a box that they can't break out of, a dungeon that they can't be free of, a rut, which is nothing more than a grave with the ends knocked out. And the other thing about Richard Cory that we can say is that whenever he or someone like him becomes our model and our mentor, we sell ourselves short. We forget very quickly that all we need and all we aspire to really is already in ourselves, and we, by projecting our wishes, our wants, and our desires on heroes and heroines, we have a way of denying our own gifts. Whenever Richard Corey went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him, but we didn't know what we were looking at. We didn't realize that here was another human being who was just as full of pain as we, and maybe even more. We had no idea of what was going on inside that handsome, almost unapproachable figure. And so I leave you to think about who it is that you admire, and to run a check on yourself to find out whether that admiration is sliding or has slidden into envy. And remember that envy is one of those deadly things that can poison us most effectively by deflecting our attention and honor that we owe ourselves as full and free human beings with the world in front of us, with problems and limitations to be sure, but with infinite potential to contribute all we are and all we have to the good of the human race. Thanks for listening. I will look forward to talking to you again next month.